Hi guys, I'll wait for a few people to connect and we will get started. Yes, it has been a while. I have been unable to do the Divine Masculine and Feminine update due to a lot of things going on behind the scenes. I have actually had quite a few downloads psychically, but have been unable to bring them to you due to scheduling, packing, bookings. Needless to say, it is very much connected to the Gemini frequency of the moon. So those of you who have been experiencing two paradigms, both feminines and masculines collectively, some of you guys would have been experiencing a more social dynamic. Others of you would have been experiencing the grind and the crunch. Hi, Elizabeth. Yes. So, depending on really what is going on with you, I had to meditate upon it this morning and I was like, okay, what is up with the collective? What is up with the collective? Like, psychically speaking, it can be two things. It can be either you're guided to get things done because energetically there are things changing and shifting in your life, or you've got situations going on where you're guided to be more social. Energetically, if you know you have things to do and you're not doing them and you're steering more towards the social aspect of things, you need to ask yourself the question, is it because you are avoiding the 3D notion of the things that you need to achieve? Do they feel overwhelming? Therefore, is it an easier frequency to settle into? Or is it an aspect that's being integrated into your life? Because that's the difference. And, you know, really with the Scorpion energy we moved away from, hi everyone, and moving into that Gemini frequency, we do tend to feel that frequency 1 to 2 weeks before it even comes on board, especially for those of you who have gone through aspects of your ascension. You pick up the energy prior to it occurring. So many of you who have moved through energy shifts, especially last year and potentially from 2016, you're really integrating those changes. And I did mention in the previous video I did that, you know, the download I was getting psychically was the age of Aquarius was coming through. So the energies of what we're directly dealing with right now are due to the fact that we are transiting and preparing and moving away from BS and needing to do the work at a 3D level. You know, it can be a move of a house. It can be the change up in your job, removing of obstacles, you know, because we really have been in that assessment mode of what is and what isn't working. What is the new path and what isn't. And, you know, never get fearful that, oh gosh, well, I don't know what my path is right now, or am I on mission? You know, am I doing what I need to do? Your mission is what directly is in front of you at all given times. Try not to psychoanalyze it too much. You know, I do feel people do get too cooped up in that energy. What is in front of you is what you directly have control over in your circle of concern. Outside of that circle of concern, you have absolutely no control other than to trust in the process. There is this energy where, you know, when you're operating from your chakras at a correct level, and there are different points in your body that are directly connected to the planets. You can have pain body experiences, or you're operating at a higher frequency in those particular chakras connected to the adversity, the challenges, or the dynamics directly happening in your life. So it's almost like, psychically speaking, you are the planets. Your whole energy auric field is directly connected in with the planets. So, you know, when you're thinking of your higher consciousness, hey Andrew, how are you? You can almost look at your, you know, yes, the sun being the ego, the third eye. Again, your crown, to me, Saturn. Again, the placements can be different in your body chakra and the auric field. So, you know, when we're looking at the planets, don't look at them as just an external being. You can look at them as it is part of your energy because of what is directly changing in your life. A lot of you, especially feminines, are going through mass shifts right now. Masculines are as well, but I am feeling major tests coming through spiritually for all. Very much there has been a lot of synchronicities around. I'm seeing a lot of bees at the moment and trying to find the love. And it's interesting, you know, I was just looking at a basics of the planets and I looked at the moon energy, and the interesting thing is we're going to have obviously the Gemini moon, which we're already feeling the frequency, and depending on where you are in the world, you know, it comes through at an earlier stage. We're then moving into the full moon in Sagittarius. And at the moment with the transits, we have Jupiter in Sagittarius, which is interesting because Jupiter being the planet of expansion and growth, you know, it's where the sacral chakra, your energy is, what you want to grow. And again, being a full moon, it's a purge. It's what's not working, what don't you want to grow anymore? What are you moving away from? And I don't even for June. And then I have to start on July because I am moving and there will be school holidays. So the booking systems will still be open, but I may close the daytime sections down, but I'll still nevertheless be available during those times, but it will be via inbox. You can directly connect with me and we can tee it up that way, but all the evening shifts will still be there. Psychically speaking, I'm finding that a lot of you are finding that your throat chakra is very different. You may be getting to a point where it's more assertive. I don't feel a blockage in it. I feel I keep hearing temperance, like you're having faith in the process that there are some things that need to happen. And I can't say potty mouth. I used to use this term years ago within a certain situation. It's where your mind thinks something, you've processed it and you've gone, in my higher consciousness, do I feel it's appropriate to say what I'm about to say? I feel there's no filter, but I feel it's divinely guided. It's like, listen, Linda, there's only so much a horse's back can take before, you know, it's like, look, there's no more room for this energy in your circle. So a lot of us that are doing a lot of 3D work at the moment, shifting, moving, changing those dynamics, there's no room for BS. So it can be where you're really sticking up for yourself in certain dynamics. Where you're actually seeing people's vibrations and pieces of the puzzle are coming together, but you're gaining clarity as to what that is and how do I explain it better. I'm seeing X-ray vision. It's like seeing through the dynamic of the truth of situations, very much the Neptunian energy when you look at it. And Neptune is in Pisces, and on the 20th, it is going retrograde of June. So, you know, I'm really feeling as though the delusions and illusions of what we were talking about with the Gemini energy, you know, really having to do the 3D work to align situations so that you're getting a more balanced way of being. It could be you're moving your house around, throwing things out, changing your health routine. Again, it will directly connect to your chart, but you'll already know because it's something that you'll have in your third eye where you're aware of, and it's something you're directly being dealing with. So, you know, Neptune is great for inventions, also delusions. It can be, especially, you know, you're drawn to be very cautious. I do feel those of you who have had energies around you that have been manipulative, lower frequency, you understand where they're coming. You've given the chance for them to transition and change and align themselves because you don't have control over them, but you do have control over you and what you will and won't tolerate. So the approach correctly is really coming through where you're drawing a line in the sand and you're saying, look, I have tolerated a lot of this BS. Now I'm going to speak my truth. You know, there is only so much the horse's back can take. And then you're looking at it, you're going, look, a lot of tolerance. But again, you know, feminines and masculines do jump back in that energy where while you're learning and you're changing, obviously with the planets going retrograde, there's this mass conversation coming through with the Capricorn energy, especially with the nodes being in Cancer and Capricorn. Now, we are going to have Mercury moving into Cancer on the 5th of June, which is around the Gemini energy as well. So there is this conversational piece between, you know, where you want to grow, what needs to end in order for that growth to happen. You've also got the family zone Cancer with the nodes, your emotions, your feelings, your intuition, with the way you're speaking, knowing when to, knowing when not to. But it can be a lot of family related dynamics coming up around the 5th of June. This could even be your household environment where you're changing things. So both masculines and feminines collectively are seeing what they need to do. And there can be things that crop up at that time. There can be a lot of jealousy, ego, envy, and anger coming up. And this potentially, I feel, has already started happening energetically. I do feel both energies, regardless of in communication or not, are on the same page. But it's this fight for your own energy to be able to choose organically what you feel is correct for you wherever you're placed. So it can be people's opinions. It can be even your own opinion of how it's changing. We've even got with the... with our spiritual sense, I'm finding we're really fighting to continue being ourselves and wondering with all these changes, especially with the Scorpion full moon, and then we're moving into the Gemini. It can be a very playful energy, but it cannot get things done sometimes. So you've got two choices. Stuff around and play, or get the work done and get moving. And again, as I said, I've got no filter at the moment because I'm really in that Saturn frequency of looking at the planets and knowing that what we're doing at the moment, it is to change, and we must change. These things that aren't balanced need to leave our life, and that can be even just our attitudes, the way we stand in the world, a lot of purging. Now, the purging has been coming in sharp. We're acknowledging what these areas are. When they are coming up, we're attempting the very best we can to move through those aspects. Birds agree. In our higher consciousness of those energies. So you can be getting triggered quite quickly, and having to really sit with that energy and meditate upon, and you'll know where it's coming from. And that will be the frustrating thing. There is, we always say, if we had known what we would go through the awakening, we would have preferred to be zombies sometimes, because it's very freeing at the same time, but it's also with a lot of accountability that comes in with that energy, where you're in your awareness about the reasons why you do things. So when you do, you are assessing yourself like a school teacher as to why you're operating from a certain frequency, why you're speaking, thinking, feeling, what's coming up for you. So it's like you're being your own personal therapist and guidance system, and then assessing it in the new given situation as to how to move forward and, actually get the best out of the situation. What else has been coming up? So don't be surprised if you start becoming the new version of yourself who you've always been, but really surprising yourself how you're reacting to different situations and how you are tackling the adversity and actually getting more done. A lot of you, I did mention, we're going to feel quite fatigued, and notice the patterns, guys, because it's really going to help you prepare for what's coming. And this is through your whole life. It's very important. When you are getting very fatigued, and it's such a jerk of a thing, something major's coming, because the universe is asking you to rest. And we did go through a state of grave fatigue, especially feminine energies. And look, regardless, feminine or masculine, this is collective energy. When you are having a descent in your energy, not only could you possibly be going through a spiritual shift, your lower chakras will directly be impacted. Base chakra, solar plexus, sacral chakra, third eye as well. Because you're in your ego, you're exhausted, you're processing direct situations, you're trying to make some sense of it. When you detach and release, you have your descent, which you'll feel extremely physically fatigued. And I really feel probably over the last 3 years, a lot of people awakening may have even considered checking for chronic fatigue syndrome, but they are directly connected to your ascension symptoms, because you do pep up quite weeks, but you will generally pep out of it, and that's where you know the difference with it. Obviously, if you feel there's something that you would need to check, you need to a doctor. But you do notice these shifts. So one thing I have noticed is when we have the descent, 9 times out of 10, universe is giving you a heads up, and they're being very kind to you. So are all the planets. Don't think of the planets as they're working against you. They are you. are directly connected to your life. Neptune, your delusions and illusions. A lot of that at the moment is what other people's delusions and illusions are of who you are, of what you stand for. So those of you who are currently on a path at the moment, and you have reached the conclusion of what is and what isn't, which is the clarity, third eye work, and you've tuned into it, so you're ahead of the game. When you have made that decision, there are a lot of karmic energies around at the moment that are in a very delusional state, where they feel in some energetic field that they have more power than they actually do. Now, in the early stages of the twin flame journey, and potentially in the last 2 years, a lot of us in the path going through the purge, potentially last year, even the year before, but more so last year, we were to a degree giving our power away, but it was because we hadn't had our spiritual upgrade. And I know because I'm a twin flame and I'm in union, so trust me when I'm talking about these things. I do feel we've shifted, and each of us will be unique in our own way of what we're learning, what we're releasing, and where we're stepping into. If you're tuning into the karmic energy, I haven't been able to do the videos on my other channel, which I'm going to do once I've moved. If I need to, I will do one a day, and they will be information connected to different questions you have. On Instagram at the moment, which is under Yildiz Readings, I've done some mini videos connected to, will my twin come back? Am I the karmic? Why the karmic, etc. You know, all of those videos are there. Go and have a look at them. They're very short and sweet, but it will help you make sense of the situation. As to the question of karmics, am I the karmic? Yes, but no. Two twins that are, a lot of people tend to think, oh, you know, because my twin is operating a lower frequency, they're not my twin. Wrong. Wrong notion, okay? The adversity you experience through your journey will be a direct mirror to you, and that's with a twin and without a twin. So somehow energetically, if you're feeling, because your twin hasn't done something that you liked, or they've hurt you, etc., trust me, I've been through shit myself, therefore they can't be my twin. Wrong. You also, if you feel energetically, if you move away from your twin, that it's over and you're safe and you're free, wrong. Okay, because the people that you attract, you are your karmic. So you will directly attract the same trigger points with different people. So it will be different, but because your energy hasn't ascended as much, it will be a bit lighter, but it will take a hell of a lot more longer time to actually purge that one subject matter. And it will be a harsher lesson. So it's, how do I put it? Anything in a belief system or a blockage within your chakras, you will directly attract that in a karmic sense to release it, because you're to get into light body experience between 2020 and 2024. If you guys aren't doing the work and you're not purging, it's going to be heavy as hell. Children collectively at the moment are going through a lot of energy shifts. So not only are feminines moving through changes in their cycle at the moment, a lot of you are experiencing early cycles in your period. Your body is changing. You are purging. You're emotionally descending and ascending. You also are dealing with a lot of 3D tasks and transformation. Plus, you're a bloody twin. So feminines are really going through the ringer at the moment, trying to hold things up and move forward regardless. Masculines as well are moving through that energy. And it's quite fast-paced as to what they're dealing with, okay? Like I said, the purging is very difficult. My compassion to all of you. It's the most bloody horrendous energy at the moment, in sharp pockets for those of you who are doing a lot of 3D work. But try and get that energy where you are giving yourself 5. Give yourself 5. Grab a coffee. If you're a smoker, not that I promote it, have a smoke. Do what makes you have 5 for yourself. Meditation at the moment may be impossible if you are busy. Although my body clock had changed, obviously, being back in reunion, and a lot of things had to change on my 3D front due to the premises, the size of it, and mass changes happening around. So regardless of whether you're in union or not, you still go through these energy shifts. So it will still apply to first, second, third waivers regardless. But the paradigms that we're changing in the second wave is directly connected to conditioning, realignment. Some people say that the second waivers aren't really good for shit, but it's each wave has their own unique theme of what they're to do. Do twins get into union? Yes, you do. Okay, there is no reason why two people energetically would travel through a path. Some people have been on the path 20 years. Some people have been on the path 19 years. Some earlier on. If your purging has been super heavy, you still potentially can be a second waver. Many of you will have contact this year and full movement. It does come down to detachment to a point where you don't feel their energy or you care not to feel their energy. To a point you're focusing directly onto your path where you can't break what's broken because you've purged and purged. You can't break what's broken. Once you get to that state, you have this understanding of different relationships you may have had, connections that you may assess whether it is or isn't worth it, and the connection to your twin. And you do this whole 360 loop to a point that you understand that the only way you will be whole is if you heal the wounds, okay? Because if you do go into another connection and you spiritually feel that somehow that will be a new version, a new start, if those blockages are still there and you still can't get your twin off your mind, you're signing yourself up for a very difficult transition, because you're then purging with the connection that you're currently in and you're still not disconnected from the old storyline. Twin flame union does not alchemize if you are thinking of another, even if you're entertaining them and they're just in case. Twin flame union also does not connect if you get to a place where you think back and forward why the things were happening, okay? That's the purging process. That's where the separation comes, is to process those energies. And once you've moved into your own frequency and you know you will be okay with or without them, you must move forward and you detach, you then get communication, okay? So you will find if you have an opinion of your twin, look at how it will directly relate to you, because a lot of times it will be exactly the same scenario. So there could be something to the degree where you're thinking they're not owning their power, just an example, and then you look at your life and say, okay, where in my life right now have I not been owning my power and creating healthy boundaries? Where have I not been standing in my truth? Are my finances balanced? Are my masculine's finances balanced? Is there something I could do? Do I need to shift house, but I haven't, for fear that they won't find me? Trust me, your twin finds you. I changed my number, my twin found me. I changed my house, my twin found me. Okay? It doesn't happen. Relax. Any questions while I quickly finish this and I will get into the card reading? But do be aware that there are very, very big changes. You guys are going to be making major decisions very shortly if you haven't started already. And there will be, I'm hearing, we have a perspective of how something's going to be, but it's going to take a 360, but it'll end up being better anyway. And that's even with the Tower moment. So trust in the process, okay? It's just this really unique vibe coming through. I also do feel August is a major shift. There is something major happening in August. Don't know what. I do feel earlier on in the piece also with this eclipse energy, there will be more seismic activity, but much earlier. Usually you find with certain planets retrograde and an eclipse, you tend to get 2 weeks beforehand, either side, seismic activity, earthquakes, tsunamis, energies to that degree. I do feel as though it's going to be much sooner than that, and there could potentially be those energies coming through on both sides all the way through to August. Prepared, okay? When you're around a certain situation and out of nowhere you get stabbing pains of stomach and heart chakra, No, at the moment, I do feel a lot of us, the way we have shifted, we're picking up on people's vibrations. There are particular people I choose not to be around, but I'm trying to transmute that energy at the moment. It can be any person, down to a child, down to an adult. It can be there, and it's been coming through the last 3 months, where even their tone on the phone, you can hear their frequency, and it feels like a spiritual attack. It can be emotional connection. It can be you're hearing their frequency. And I mean, Aluna Ash was talking about this before, and it is because we are very interconnected. So you do get the I can't remember the term, it's phonics, like sounds and vibrations, both through your skin, which is why our auric field needs expanding. But tones of people are irking you, or they're setting you into a frequency, which is theoretically a purge for you because it's taking you back to a memory of a painful experience, which is the pain body experience. There are a lot of childhood wounds we're purging at the moment. There is a lot of correlating energies we're looking at as well when it does come to how you experienced a way of being and how potentially your twin experienced a way of being, and actually looking at how very similar. And the closer you get to communication, looking at the correlating stories, you will actually vibrationally realize your twin on the outside is you on the inside. Thus the reason you both were attracted to each other. You are a complete mirror of each other. My twin is very strong on the inside, but he's very tempered with his energy and tolerant, more so than me, because I really have no tolerance for BS. He doesn't have tolerance for BS, but he handles it quite differently. But I think that's where Divine Feminine's got to. Yeah, they're not triggering me. Some things have been, but it's vibrations I'm picking up off people where I choose not to be in that circle. It's something that is unnecessary. Knowing what you need to shift, but to be able to get that balance that you vibrationally need. A need is different to a want. A want is a desire, yes, but it's not a codependent frequency. It's this would work to, how do I put it? Your needs are your personal desires and knowing thyself. You know, that's very different to an expectation. An expectation is you need to change so that I don't have to get triggered. No, you can't, okay? Because that's a you thing. You have to change that. And the analogy that Lysiana gave me was perfect. You know, when I say look at yourself as a plate, throw the plate as broken. That's your wound, okay? So a person hurts you. Even if they were to say sorry, you're still going to be working on the trigger. Some of you that aren't even in contact with your twin, you still got that painful experience. So regardless of if they said sorry or made it better or did everything to change, unless you can get to the crux of the issue and let it go, it won't make any difference. So when we say do the work on yourself, it's for you to actually be open to any connection or your twin, and to be living a peaceful life, because the twin flame journey at times, especially through your spiritual growth, will near on break you. There are many twins that have nervous breakdowns. And it won't just be directly connected to your twin. It will be in general through your awakening. The dark night of the soul, you know, not having those chakras and the lower chakras purged to the point where you have the power or the energy. And so many feminines may be single parents. So you've had to utilize your masculine frequency to continue moving through life and keep the balance being that masculine energy. We are having to use that at the moment, but we're wanting to just divorce that energy and to be in our own vibration of still having our hopes and dreams. Very separate to connections, but being ourselves and loving ourselves. There was a point, I do feel, for both masculines and feminines, there was this discord where we wondered whether people would accept who we are, but we've really moved through that, and we really have no tolerance for anyone that doesn't understand, because if they don't, it's a them problem, it's not a you problem, if that makes sense. Do we have a reader in the house? A big hello to Dawn. Okay, we shall get into the read. And we will see the energy of what's coming through for feminine and masculine. Now, it's interesting. The June I recorded, I didn't place a placement for the unseen, and it was interesting. And I really do feel a lot of what's coming through this month is crap we know. It's like we know intuitively what's coming, right? But at the same time, I'm feeling as though we don't have time. And really, the Scorpion full moon purge was to do with the fact that we don't know what's coming completely, which is true, right? There are essential things we know, intuitively, psychically, yes. There are also from psychics where you're not allowed to see certain things, they won't let you, because we're meant to go through certain stages in the journey to experience and learn. It's the only way we can. That's the reason if we're preaching and a person doesn't want to absorb it, you're preaching for no reason, because you can only stand in your truth and live by example. And when people are ready to have their energetic lessons and upgrades, that comes naturally. It's nothing we directly need to do. It comes naturally. Okay. Interesting. Okay, we have crowning energy, perfection. A lot of throat chakra, a lot of third eye. The power from the third eye and the throat chakra. And I feel both masculines and feminines at the moment. You see through the BS, okay? Beyond the veil of illusion, Neptune energy. That's why I was saying, I was getting the download psychically that, you know, I had to meditate upon Neptune. And it was like, this is really interesting. I really do feel that we've already had our download. We know what the truth is. We know who we are. We know what this connection is. We know what our path is moving forward. We also know that we can't make anybody do anything they don't want to do. So we're not operating from that frequency where we're controlling people. We can only control our own self as to how we directly relate, what we do, how we stand by example, and we proceed forward. I am sensing a lot of the karmic external energies, the previous energies, are really, we're seeing their frequency and where they're operating from, which was already so. But we're seeing the bigger picture in this transformational piece. And it's interesting, the card breaks down to a 12, which I'm picking up. That's for masculines and feminines. When I see twos, I'm seeing masculines. When I see ones, I see feminines. Yes. Again, head cold and sinus is directly connected to third eye. Yeah, third eye and potentially crown chakra. But it's the frustration because you're meditating upon things. So you're at that state where you're actually releasing, which is good because you're moving through your perspective, perception, and the sun energy, the ego of it. And ego is good and bad. Interesting what's coming through. Okay, feminines, you guys don't want to keep doing a rotational dance. You do know that the wheel has come. The wheel is present. But you're trying to pick ways of doing things and go with the flow. There are certain areas in your life you know that need changing. You know they're going to take some time. Again, I am picking up with this Jupiter energy coming through with the Sagittarius full moon. Is we will collectively know with our perspective and perception, and we will communicate our truth. We will see the truth prior to these energies coming in, and we're going to know what to end out. Now, to reach complete connection of that foundation, because when I'm seeing 10 connections, ending a cycle, starting a new one, again, it's a full moon coming up in Sagittarius. Eternal dance, movement, wheel of life, path of least resistance. What you need to get rid of. Going with the flow, knowing it's a process, but you're taking direct steps to get that movement forward. You're actually moving the ship. That can be within yourself or the 3D. Purification of fire, bare essentials, the naked truth, wholeness. You've got this card in reverse, and I'm going to pull a clarifier on it. I'm going to tune into it. 5, okay. You know that something is taking an awful long time, especially those of you who aren't in reunion. You're like, this is taking a while. I know the energy's here. I can feel it. Vibrationally, you will feel your counterpart's energy around you prior to reconnection. You will start seeing 1444 quite a bit. And again, that does depend on where you are in your journey. You also will see a lot of 5s. You will also see 111 and 222 quite a bit, but directly connected, especially in the later stages, you know, of the journey. You can see the 144 quite a bit, but regardless, you'll still have reunion if you're seeing the 1s, the 5s. You will sense their energy around you. You may get irked and disconnect, and then you will reconnect again. Like, it's a knowingness that, yes, okay, you haven't seen your twin, therefore you can't assess the situation, because you know that if you were to see them, it would reignite that flame, the connection, the vibration. But obviously, if there's purging to do, that's different, okay? But those energies are telling you that you're on the right track. Oh, you're human. Let it go. Take it for what it is. Who cares? Why did you read my last comment? I come to that vibration, Sally, because I realised that whatever connection I got into, it didn't matter. At some point, the energy, like a psychic attack, their name would come into my head, and I was going, fuck me, man, seriously. What is wrong with me? And then I would be following my path. The tower would come down in the direct connection I was in. But it was always early on in the piece. There would be dramas, there would be blockages. I mean, if I told you half of my story, you go, you can't make this shit up. I did anything I could to disconnect from my twin at one stage. They would find you, or you would find them. Look, when it comes to this ending, let's get back into it. You've been doing this for a long time, okay? And you're waiting patiently. You're looking at life. All those of you who have had no communication, I'm feeling the energy here, and I'm almost feeling like, and I've got to pay attention because I've got a reading this morning. Okay, I'm on track. You feel this energy that there's this frequency. You know something's changing. You'll get this nervous energy. You know it's changing. You're not seeing it, but you feel it, okay? You need to trust that, because it's telling you something. Trust, disconnect, continue. The purification of fire is connected to, I feel, certain scenarios tying up. It feels like the hangman energy. Some people aren't grasping the truth. Some of you are on the fence, okay? Now, when it does come to this, for some reason I'm feeling this is external, but there is a surprise coming. But it's in reverse, and being a 5 is about change. And this was what I was mentioning before I pulled the cards. You have a plan in mind in general, or an idea, an ideal, right? What is to come is going to be completely different, but it will work out in your favour regardless. So, okay. Yes, it's been going around and around, and it's like, feel like Donkey Kong spinning a wall. The purification of fire, which to me is also scarred union. A lot of you that are in contact, sexual relations, whatever you want to call it, you haven't completely had that scarred connection yet, okay? You think you have, you haven't. And I do feel it's moving through the air. As we're transitioning forward, that is yet to come. I don't feel any one of you have had it yet. I do feel there will be a shift. There is a surprise coming at 360, but it's going to, this emotion that's either coming up or happening around you, and I feel it's happening around you. I feel you'll go through it first, which I feel for many of you feminines, you're already going through it. And then collectively, there will be this pouring out of emotion from other people. And it's a 5 again, change. I don't feel some people are aware that this change is coming. Feminines, your energy is going to be building up. this is going to, you're going to be like, this is happy relief. And I'm feeling this card as a sigh, as a like, look, about time in relation to love. Many of you are going to have reconnection, communication. There's peace returning between the both of you. It's really set in stone. More consistency as well. So disconnect from all the storylines you had. This is a different story. This is a different era. It's going to be completely different. Some of you will be experiencing very unique feelings like you're pregnant, or your cycles are changing, or you intuitively feel it's going to happen soon. Follow your intuition with that. Also with your plans and changes, yes, that's going to happen too. This is interesting. 6, connected to masculine energy. When I'm seeing 6, it always correlates for me the masculine, and I trust my guides the way they show me things. So if you feel a different energy, that is a direct message for you. The search, feeling lost, confused and lonely. You know who you are, okay? It's in reverse. You know who you love. You know who you are. You might not have liked the past and the things that happened, but you do. You must love thyself to love another, okay? The person you love, you are going to the next level with. They are coming into your life to take you to this next level, and it will go to what you deem as the next level. Many of you can rest assured with that. This connection is going to mature. You know, you want it to go back to the way it was yesterday, but trust me, you don't. I feel such a strong urge to spy on him. You'll probably find that's his energy. Don't do it. You need to ask yourself, am I energetically prepared to see what I see? You will be able to see through the veil. That ship has sailed. If that ship has sailed and you're a twin, that ship has never sailed. I've been on the journey 18 years, and it's not about an addiction. It's about if you need to learn, your twin does not go, and they will come back and make you learn. Even if it comes through in another person's energy, we cannot avoid the spiritual growth if, in fact, you are a twin. If you're a twin, you have no choice. You chose the path before you come here. Masculines, change, okay? Scarred heart, having an activation. They're going through a burn off of the energy. Passion, love, spiritual communion. And I told you, it's not, it hasn't happened yet. It's like a message of love. Scarred Earth Mother, a message of love. Apprehension. They know that these things are coming. They actually are getting a lot of psychic downloads at the moment. The energies, I really need to do an informative session. Okay. Yes, narcissistic energies can be due to codependent frequencies. There is a difference between a narcissist and a twin flame who is needing to purge. It will look similar, but it won't be the same. My twin, one could deem, had those qualities. My twin is nothing like that now because they have spiritually healed. It is like meeting a completely new person, having to outlearn all the pain body experiences you had, and then get to a point you're getting to know the new version and very, very confused because you're looking back and you're going, okay, by the time you grow, you won't be the same person. Jewel within a teardrop, apprehension, spiritual and emotional reconnection. They're leaving the past behind, okay? We do continue on the path of our own journey, but they do come back. Even if you end up with someone else, you will end up with someone else and it will fall down because you are not meant to be with them permanently. If you are choosing not to face your fears, generally another person will come in. When that person comes in, it will heal you, but then it will fall down. And then you have the karma connected to that because you're then looking at, and that's why when my twin and I separated, I had to think back on my journey of 18 years, and I only knew I was a twin for 3 years. So I was able to look at the connections back and go, okay, there's a pattern here. Okay, there's a pattern. Going into a new connection, Similar things happened with those people because the energy of karma lived in me. It would come through in these individuals for me to learn. You don't need to be with your twin for that to come up. Then when universe feels ready, they're going to send you your twin again. And even this person on here saying that ship sailed, it will happen to you too. You're not immune. And that's the one thing I've noticed with me. I have changed now and I don't sugarcoat shit. I have no time for that. The pain that you go through in this journey, you are not immune to. It will happen. And you will see. And then we will all do the work because we won't have a choice. It's what we were sent here for. Okay. Scarred heart, masculine. The thoughts I think determine the relationship I attract. They're like no more and then. Okay. They do not have time to think about lower frequency people. They don't have room for this. Do they know they manifested it? No, but they definitely are detaching, which means they've learned a lesson. Scarred Mother Earth, the message of love. Now, I feel this is potentially coming through with the moon energy. This is between the 5th and the end of the month, but I do feel the end of the month for many that are leaving. Now, when I'm talking about the karmic, yes, we have karmic energy in us. Karmic meaning if they're with a connection. I feel it's reaching the end, especially with the Jupiter frequency in Sagittarius. I feel that they already intuitively knew where they wanted to be. But when we are stuck, we are with another. It's not to say you don't love that person. Don't get me wrong. When you're with that person, you do. You're trying. You are in that vibration, therefore you're there. So it's not a fake relationship. But it's the pain after the fact, energetically, it breaks down, that you're needing to remember that person, detach from that person and move forward. So you need to know where you are spiritually in your journey. I feel the masculines have already had that awakening acknowledgement and know what they need to do. And a lot of it is healing. So if they're currently with the karmic, it's due to the fact they're healing, not necessarily. It's not a good time, let me put it that way. They're healing. It's serving a purpose. But it's serving a purpose for that person's too. And I do feel a lot of the twins at the moment who are in karmic relationships, you are with the twin, but they're not your twin. And that twin's healing. They're a third waver. Be careful. I can focus on what I do want within a relationship. By leaving this situation behind, they know, look at the hand pulling them back. And they're like, no, I've already taken the offer. I already know who's got my heart. My head and my heart are connected now. I know who I want. I'm moving towards it. You can't stop me. Apprehension about moving forward. Yes, they're cautious. They're healing. They're getting grounded. And it's at a 9. So if they're in hermit mode, they're going to take temporary solace either with you, or if you're separate, both of you individually. On your masculine side, feminines, you will be taking some solace in a sense of getting grounded because so much is changing. I can't stop attracting don't wants by attention to do wants. Now, this is very much linking to a purge. You'll have a purge, you're going to descend, and then you'll come up again. But you're detaching from it because it can't go with you. So you're ditching the trash. Take the trash out, papes, right? Anything that doesn't need to come with you, let it go. Jewel within a teardrop. Apprehension, spiritual and emotional reconnection. Not crying about the past. Moving forward. My thoughts join a powerful swirling vortex of attraction. Again, this is about spirituality. This is about knowing where the spiritual connection is. Number 7, spirituality, finances, abundance, emotions. They know where this is. Look at the third eye. Look at their hands. The power that they know they have, okay? And mixing with a tribe of people and their ancestors helping them through this. Any questions? Still got a bit of time. Yes, a bit of everything. Okay. Masculines are leaving behind things, okay? Some of them could be leaving behind old situations, maturing in their energy. There can be issues connected to older children or children that aren't like babies. I'm also seeing an old situation come up and getting back to a traditional way of being. Traditional. Did you hear me? Traditional. Strange. Doing the work. A lot of them are focusing on their careers, working. They're getting very, very fatigued. Trying to end these cycles, okay? Wanting to bring it to an end, especially with karmics. The karmic has come to an end, but it's other old residue energy after the fact of those things that they're tying up. He did the reach out. I didn't reach out. I disconnected. That was the first disconnect I've ever done. It's like no deal. Because I needed to take accountability for my side of the fence, and I realised that a lot of my relationships I needed to process. I also wanted to come to a place where I knew that no matter where I was good. And that was the one thing I said to my twin. I am so grateful that that happened, because what it's given me back in hindsight has given me back. I'm home to myself. I know I'm good with, I'm good without. Yes, I totally, I'm very proud of myself. I'm proud of him. We've worked very hard spiritually. But at the same time, there's no iron team. But there are also assessments where we're looking at other people at the moment and going, you're not on my team. It's got nothing to do with you. This is me. Okay, so a lot of us are doing that. You need to trust your intuition, but at one stage, I think I didn't reach out in a sense of, hey, what are you doing? Are you coming back to me? I reached out and made a statement because I had to drop the ego of, well, is it a tit for tat shit thing going on of, because you haven't called me, I don't have to call you. You can make a statement, which isn't an expectation. You can say, gee, I heard this happen. My thoughts are with you. It could be if someone passed away, for instance. You know, being that to the point of being self-righteous and saying, well, I'm not going to message that person because they haven't messaged me. You can still be human. So you can still be in your personal truth and say, hey, I have compassion. This person has lost someone. I'm going to state my case without the expectation of them returning a call. So you can make the statement and then disconnect and move on with your life. You do you. You must focus on you, though. You can't make a person do anything they don't want to do. And that was really the attitude I had, because I needed to look at myself. I also needed to allow him to do what he felt was correct. And if he felt he was happy with someone, I cared for him unconditionally, that I just wanted what he wanted. Like, if he was happy, I was happy for him. Because you don't want anything that's fake in your life, guys. If that person loves you and they want to be with you, and you know your worth and you love yourself, they will want to be with you, right? Really look at it black and white. If we are codependent and we're trying to maneuver through the matrix like a chess piece, it's manipulation. If someone wants to be with you, they're going to be with you. If they're going to leave, they're going to leave. So you're worrying about things for no reason, even if you have been hurt in the past. And I'd had a lot of arseholes hurt me, trust me. And I was an arsehole in my life too. So I had to do the work in that and just have a good damn bloody look at it and went, I want a peaceful life. If I don't have a relationship in my life, I want to love my home. I had a vegetable garden. I socialised. I focused on my work. I ate vegan. I meditated, my house was clean, and I went to bed when I wanted to. And anything else, you don't need a man for, really. So it was purely about love that I chose to be in a connection, purely because I loved this person unconditionally, had no need for him, but loved him. Does that make sense? But when you have a need on a person to be a particular way, that's not love. That's codependency. If you have to act this way, yes, we've had trigger points. We deal with them ourselves the way they come in, if they come in. And yes, I've still had to purge a lot of the old crap that I was in. So it comes back again. Okay? Any other questions before I kick it? Yeah, I know. But it was like, look, it's nothing a vibrator can't change. I told you, I've got potty mouth at the moment. If you connect with a person at some point, don't lie to yourself. You will get to a point, if you know that that's not for a long time, it's for a short time, do you want to hurt yourself, A, or do you want to hurt them, B? No. And I just couldn't have that on my conscience. So I'm very cautious to be very open with people because I take my life very accountably, okay? So if I'm scared or hurt and going into a relationship before I've purged that other person, I just don't feel that to be fair, so I am quite open with that. And I feel that's not selfish because the healing isn't necessarily about, it's about you. You know, you could literally leave somebody and have no connection. It's still going to hurt. There's still going to be purging. And there's different stages of releasing, you know. A divorce, for instance, you think because you've left, it's over. No, there's then the divorce. There's then the memories in a particular house that you haven't purged. And that can be a blockage in your twin flame path too. If you're staying in a house that you had with an ex and you haven't moved forward, that's a blockage in the past. You're not in your truth. You haven't let the old path go. They're blockages. Yeah, I'm a bit of a bitch at the moment, sorry. Like I said, there's no point sugarcoating it because you need a new toy girl. Yeah, but that, you know, it's like a man bag or a handbag. It makes you look pretty. Does it serve a purpose? We don't use people, man. Don't use people because you're using yourself and you're sending a recipe out to universe. I'm usable. No. Okay? How do you let go completely? Realize that anyone can break you, but they can't break what's broken. Don't give two shits. Nobody can hurt you. You're hurting yourself. But look, what if you die tomorrow? You'll never know. So make a choice about what you would rather have. Do you want to never know and never try? Or do you want to walk the road to least resistance and have an adventure? Or do you want to be the white picket fence chick with somebody that you know, is that what do you want for your life? Always be in alignment on that day of what you want and what is correct. And every day you're different. And be okay with that. Because you're in your ego at the moment because you're processing the past. But once you get so exhausted by that, you get headaches and you get tired. And then you go, oh, fuck this. I've thought of it every friggin' way. If a man or a woman is with a karmic but they haven't purged you, how can they be there completely? I couldn't even do that. So how is it any different? If they've left you and ended up with someone else, they haven't healed yet, okay? So they're not rejecting you. They're not in their own energy. They're actually rejecting their belief in themselves. That's the mirror. So that's why you don't take it personal, because you just look at the matrix so much and you're looking at it going, it's so sad it makes sense. That, okay, bye. That you just can't, you grasp the reason why, but it is what it is, and you've tried every other angle to change it, and you detach, and you realise that they need to actually change themselves. You can't do anything to change that. Energetically, you're tied into each other, so you do directly trigger each other to transform and change, and that naturally does happen. Any other questions before I go on with my client? Yeah, but it's like getting connected with yourself. Anytime. Love and light, and I'll talk to you guys later.